Today we're gonna recap the horror fantasy movie named Dark Shadows, released back in 2012. So grab some snacks and get ready for the most enjoyable minutes of your life. It was 1760 when Barnabas Collins left Liverpool on a sea ship for America, where he and his family started their new life, and his father built a whole empire, the fishing port, owning the ports of the town named after them, Collingwood and Port Collins Bay. Barnabas had an admirer named Angelique, who was the daughter of a lower-class family, unlike Barnabas, but she was a witch and worked in his house. Barnabas and Angelique had some fun going on the side, which turned into a lifetime of despair and enchantment when Barnabas ignored what Angelique thought they had going on. Hearing no positive response from Barnabas, she cursed his parents to their death, leaving Barnabas thinking and giving into the dark magic to prove that they were murdered, leaving him alone with his family. Barnabas found his true love, Josette, but Angelique couldn't see his love fall for the other. Hence, she makes her fall off the cliff, Maiden's curse, and thus another significant loss to Barnabas, but this time, Angelique cursed him to become vampire, leaving him to the shadows. As it doesn't seem enough, she revealed his true monstrous face in front of the villagers, so they buried him alive in the steel coffin deep in the woods of Collinwood, leaving him to rot for eternity. It was 1972, and a young lady left for a governess job in the Collinswood. She was practicing for the interview and named herself as Maggie, but with quite hesitation. So when she looked at the nearby poster, she read the name and named herself Victoria Winters. If you didn't notice, let me tell you she looked very much like Barnabas's girlfriend. When she stepped out of the train, she seemed nervous by seeing two police officers and hitchhiked with some college students to the main town in front of Collins Villa. The villa seems quite ruined, and there she is received by the house servant Willie and Mrs. Johnson. Then she waits for Elizabeth Collin, head of house, since no other Collin is alive or interested in looking after the mansion or family business. Elizabeth briefly introduces the house members living there, including the servants. Elizabeth hired Victoria as the governess for David, who is having difficulty after her mother's passing. And the very reason is that they brought Dr. Hoffman for his examination, as the child is 8 years old and he claimed he can talk to her mother. After giving a preliminary introduction, Elizabeth asks a few questions apart from the applications and then takes her on the house tour. They pass by Carolyn's house, who fantasizes about leaving for New York and living there after she turns 16 and seems quite irritated and a spoiled child. At the dinner table, Roger, the brother of Elizabeth, joins them and asks about Victoria, who is strange to everyone except those she has already met. David comes covered in sheets to scare Victoria, but Elizabeth calls him before he can. Like every other family, Collins is all damaged in their ways. Victoria, who likes to be called Vicky, asks Elizabeth about their family business, to which she says that they had a large cannery in the town, but now they are just floating it. David lets Vicky know that his mother was murdered and didn't die under natural circumstances. Vicky consoles him and tries to elaborate her views on it when Elizabeth asks her to stop. Victoria was in her room when she found someone at her door under white sheets who had come to tell her something. First, she thought it's David again, but when she removed the sheet, there was no one and a ghost appeared and told her he is coming. Vicky gets anxious about who is coming, so she follows the ghosts for more answers, but she vanishes into the floor of the main entrance in front of the portrait of Barnabas Collin. Some excavators dug in the town's woods when they hit a coffin, the same in which Barnabas is buried alive. They cut it open, but before the coffin is opened completely, Barnabas kills all men and drinks their blood, for he has been thirsty for 2 centuries. After satisfying his appetite, he leaves for his house, but the world is strange to him. Everything has changed, and there is a road now, a town full of new and unimaginable objects and things, food parlors, and different new salons with various items for you to grab. Barnabas doesn't seem to belong to this world, and in fact, he looked very odd to the modern people, because man, it's been 200 years. Hiding from the eyes of everyone, Barnabas reaches his home where Willie is gardening pumpkins, and thus, he puts him under his spell and gets information on the Collins family and the time of year. Afterward, they enter the house, and Barnabas starts to praise his home, saying a perfect marriage of European elegance and American enterprise come together, making it an exquisite combination. Barnabas loved his house and everything within it. The finely crafted pillars, vibrant chandelier, and exquisite fireplace make the mansion nobility. Carolyn and David were in the living hall near the fireplace. Carolyn asks Barnabas, unaware that he is his distant ancestor, about his appearance, and he continues being weird to the children. David introduces himself when Elizabeth comes and takes Barnabas to the drawing room for a word. After some cold exchange of words, Barnabas shows Elizabeth some mysterious routes beneath their house leading to the historic old golds their family owned and only Barnabas knew. Elizabeth asked him to promise to keep this a secret and not tell anyone. The next day at breakfast, Elizabeth introduces Barnabas to everyone, and seeing Victoria, he recalls her lover Josette, an uncanny similarity like she was reincarnated and was brought to him. Elizabeth informs Barnabas about the bankruptcy of their family business and how Angie, short for Angelique, owns Angel Bay. Hearing her name, Barnabas' spark for revenge woke up, and thus he took it upon himself that he would deal with it and revive their family mansion and business. Angie was informed about last night's accident hearing, and she was shocked and left for it immediately. She went to Colin's mansion and made a dramatic entry. Upon her entrance, she finds Carolyn, and then Elizabeth confronts her, and she asks where the visitor is. Elizabeth says that he is sleeping. As she completes her sentence, Barnabas comes rocking out of his room, complaining about the banging, and asked for some private words with her in the drawing room. Reaching there, she melted for him while he pushed her away, and then she started to reminisce about their past and how they used to love each other. Barnabas is disgusted with her and wants nothing with her, but she loves him so much. When Barnabas comes to attack her, she undoes the curtains and lets the sunbeam pass, making Barnabas start burning as vampires can be easily killed with direct sunlight. Later that day, he shares his hatred against her with Elizabeth and shares his heart out about his parents, who encourage him that he must keep fighting, although his parents are dead. The next day, he started renovating his house and rebuilding his business with the help of the treasure left. Willie takes him to the sea captain, leading the other captains into business, and he can put words for it. So Barnabas meets and compels him to do business with him in the future. Barnabas is strange to this new world and its new strange items. He finds a lamp with red-colored liquid, compelling him to drink it as blood. He is lurking on the stairs of Carolyn, in whose room that lamp is placed when Dr. Hoffman finds him lurking, and she offers to help him. She hypnotizes him and gets all of his secrets out of him, and then confronts Elizabeth for keeping a vampire in their house. Elizabeth persuades her that she should take him as his patient and should keep his secret for being part of the family. Hoffman suggests a new treatment trial for Barnabas, and he signs up for it. But the doctors seem to have some other intentions by taking his blood. Barnabas visits Carolyn for the customs and traditions of courting Victoria. She shares that music can help him to be normal, and he should talk to some ordinary people. They also talk about David and what his perception of his mother means to each of them. Angie's business board finds the Collins taking up as her competitors are nothing of any sort because they are just renovating. But Angie wants to wreck them all and thus asks them to set up a meeting for a new proposal. Angie proposes her deal to Barnabas to sell the company to her, and she can spare him, but he rejects it. But Angie has some other offers for him as well, which she serves him. After fulfilling Angie's desire to love her for some time, Barnabas left ashamed, saying he can't fall for her again. Hoffman starts her new treatment trials on Barnabas, and she asks him to give her treatments sometime before it can show its results. Victoria usually dreams about her past, how her parents gave her to psychiatrists when she started to talk to herself, and they thought she was some maniac. We saw the same spirit ghost appear. This time she asked for help and fell again, absorbed into the floor. She couldn't realize what that meant. The next day, Barnabas wishes for a ball to conduct in the town as per the customs of his time, while Hoffman enters and asks to put the curtains on the windows to create some shadow on the table. This seems strange. Carolyn wants to invite her favorite singer to the ball, to which Barnabas agrees. The ball was majestic, as was Barnabas and his greatness, and everyone from the town was invited except Angie. But she invites herself to the ball, finds Victoria and Barnabas kissing, and she leaves angrily. Victoria shares her past life and tells Barnabas that she feels like she can tell him everything as she might know him from forever. Before they kiss, he clearly seemed not caring about what people think of her. He still loves her. The next day, Barnabas finds out about Hoffman's secret plan, who wants to turn out like him to remain for eternity. When he finds her transfusing his blood, he kills her and throws her in the ocean. Then he takes care of Roger, who was trying to open the secret treasure portal. He gave him two options whether he wishes to stay for David or leave the house permanently with wealth, as he seemed to have a secret affair, and sadly, he leaves his son under his family's care. Willie was adjusting the chandelier when David hit her stairs, and the chandelier fell on him, at which Barnabas saved him with quite inhuman speed. As the curtains were open, the sunlight made him burn a little and revealed his true self to the family. Everybody was afraid, including Victoria, which he couldn't bear. He rushed to Angie to reverse the curse, but she tries to indulge him towards her by offering him some blood, and when he rejects her proposal, she traps her in his coffin again, and this time she traps her in his family graveyard, where the rest of her family is laid to rest. Angie puts fire on his family business and blames it all on the Collins family, who murdered everyone in there, and gives police the voice recordings of Barnabas so she can take over the family mansion too. David unlocks Barnabas' coffin and unchains him. When he asked how David knew that he was trapped there, he said his mother told him. The final battle for the love of their life begins between Barnabas and Angie. Barnabas presents himself for arrest because he wants her to leave his family alone. As Barnabas attacks Angie, some cracks appear on her skin. She throws Barnabas flying into the house, and Elizabeth exposes her as a witch by calling her out loud. Collins fights to the death when she captures him with her magic, and Carolyn turns to werewolf and attacks Angie, who throws her flying onto stairs. She had burned the entire mansion and admitted that it's all her fault that Carolyn is a werewolf today, and she made David's mother drown in the sea because she was bored of having no family drama. Angie attempts to kill David as well, but once she reaches near him, he is protected by his mother, and she throws Angie caught in the chandelier. Everyone leaves the mansion and saves themselves while Barnabas goes to Angie, who has been defeated, and presents her heart to Barnabas as he loved him, but he kills the witch, telling her that love has to be pure. Moreover, his mother told him to save Victoria as she was about to jump. As Angie had compelled Victoria to jump off the cliff, Barnabas ran to save her, and he did save his love this time, but she said she would literally jump off if he didn't turn her into a vampire, because she wants to live with him for eternity. When he refused, she fell off and Barnabas drank her blood to make her a vampire too. The love is resurrected, and this time, it's forever.